Do you know the name Reggie Lewis? Probably not. Let me tell you, he was an NBA All-Star and had his number retired by both the Boston Celtics and Northeastern University. The reason you probably don't know his name is because he died at 27 years old, just 6 years into his career. But we'll get back to that. Reggie was drafted in 1987 with the 22nd overall pick in the draft. The Celtics were looking for young talent as the aging Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish were on the downside of their careers. There was new hope with Lewis being drafted, especially because just 1 year earlier they had picked a promising player second overall in the draft named Len Bias, who died of a cocaine overdose just 2 days after being drafted. As you can imagine, the city had high hopes for local talent Reggie Lewis. He was indeed local too, having attended Northeastern University in Boston for 4 years, not a school usually known for producing athletes outside of hockey. Unremarkable in his first year, the next season would provide him opportunity, although it took an injury to Larry Bird for him to get the playing time. Now playing over 30 minutes a game, he averaged 18.5 points, and in his last 2 seasons was scoring over 20 points per game. Much needed offense to offset Bird's nagging back injuries near the end of his career. Reggie Lewis looked poised to take over as the face of the franchise for years to come. April 29, 1993, the Celtics were playing the Charlotte Hornets in the first game of their series, and Reggie was off to a great start, having scored 17 points in just 13 minutes. Then the unthinkable happened. He collapsed on the court and remained on the ground for a few seconds. He was pulled shortly after, but returned after a brief absence, only to be pulled for good for dizziness and shortness of breath. I grew up south of Boston. I was watching this game, and I remember every second. We didn't know what we were seeing at the time, and looking back 30 years later, it's hard not to get choked up a little. The following day, he was diagnosed with focal cardiomyopathy, a condition that causes irregular heartbeat and heart failure. After receiving the news, Reggie went and got a second opinion and was told he had a less serious condition, which I cannot pronounce and I won't try, but this one was non-fatal. Lewis took the second opinion and started working out again, though the doctor says they never cleared him for this. The doctor was cleared of any wrongdoings later. That July 1993, he was working out at Brandeis University, where he would suffer a sudden cardiac arrest on the court, and despite attempts to resuscitate him, he would never come back. There is some good that came from this, though. In the wake of the tragedy, his wife Donna Harris Lewis carried on his legacy in the community, continuing the annual tradition of a turkey giveaway to those in need and supporting events at the Reggie Lewis Track and Field Athletic Center in Roxbury, Massachusetts. There is a scholarship to Northeastern University in his name as well. Most importantly, I believe, this helped to open the eyes of players around the league that you can't take your health for granted. I know that once the sadness passed, that is what I took from it. This is the 30th anniversary of his tragic death, and honestly, I just wanted to put something out there to honor his memory so that he will never be forgotten. I realize this was not exactly a fun video, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Hopefully, the highlights in the background have given you an idea on just how special he was, as we will always wonder what could have been.